All right, we're back. It's a Steel
Yeah.
Deal. We are live from North Carolina, where it's very cold in my basement. Hence the sweatshirt and jacket combo, and hence Brad's sick throwback sweatshirt there. Brad, how long did
Yeah,
you think you've had
boy.
that?
Since '94.
94. Brad's sweatshirt is older than I am, so that's always fun to hear the difference. Thank you guys for coming back for another episode of the Steel Deal. We are in off-season content. It is Super Bowl Sunday, so obviously a fun day uh,
Yeah.
for NFL fans, for everyone. Kind of a celebration of the sport. It's also the last game of the season, which does make it sad. But we can
Mhm.
sit here and we can talk about Patriots, Seahawks, and how we beat one, we almost beat the other, but that's tonight. We'll make our picks at the end, so stick around till the end. We're going to talk about what happened this year. And then we're going to turn the page and focus on free agents and build towards next year. Overall, it was a pretty disappointing season, right? We said way
Mhm.
back in August we're going to go 10-7 and we're going to lose in the wild card, and lo and behold, there we are. Here we are, and it's the same thing. The metrics do not look good either. We finished 25th overall on offense. We finished 26th overall in defense. So we could sit here and say the standard is a standard, but the standard has moved on. The new
Yeah.
standard is Coach Mike McCarthy and all the staff that he's bringing in. The team did well in certain aspects. Obviously, we won the AFC North. We're not upset about that. We'll take every ring and every trophy we can get, but that's not Pittsburgh Steelers football. The
Nope.
rushing game looked good. We have two viable running backs, one of which is a free agent, which we need to talk about. The passing game, well, it didn't look good, but it looked a whole lot better than it has the last 5 years. When we finished 25th in offense and we're saying, wow, we had a great year from the quarterback, and he's also
Mhm.
40,000 years old. You know,
Methuselah.
Methuselah, we need to reconsider some things. I really did think that the system was beginning to take place. Arthur Smith, he got his guys in place. Did not like how much he used Jonnu Smith. I think every Steelers fan can agree that guy's cut. No offense to the person himself, just didn't work. I
Yeah.
appreciated the creativity Arthur Smith kind of tried to bring with Jonnu, throw him in the backfield. He is a more athletic tight end than what we
Mhm.
have. But you have Pat and you have Darnell. You got massive guys who are great pass catchers, great in the run game. Utilize those. The quick passing game was the only passing game we had, though. And that goes back to probably 2019 when Ben tore his UCL. We don't have the ability to push the ball downfield, and you can't sit there and just throw 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage every single time and hope to do anything remotely positive in this era of the NFL.
That
The offensive
totally caught
line,
up with that season. Sorry, but
awful, awful. I thought the offensive line played well. And we want to give flowers to now former offensive line coach Pat Meyer. The team gelled. Is it players? Is it coaching? It's hard to tell. We've invested heavily in the offensive line over the last couple of years. Multiple first round draft picks, multiple high round draft picks there. And we have a question now at left tackle. Is Broderick Jones coming back? Are we picking up his fifth year option? Dylan Cook played well, but Dylan Cook played all right. He's an undrafted free agent who's kind of bounced around practice squads. Who knows? Might have something there, but we need to address that. Overall, offense was just like I said, meh, not really good, not really bad. We also had no wide receiver two, which was the issue we had last year. We've had that issue honestly for like 3 or 4 years, and we can't seem to address it. So we turn to defense. Defense under defensive coordinator Terrell Austin, 26 overall. It's not it.
quack, quack, quack.
You can't have that.
Just
Offense has the excuse of being so devoid of talent on the skill position players that and quarterback play that you kind of have that excuse. But when you're the highest paid defense in the NFL and you finish 26 overall, yeah, we all knew Terrell Austin was out the door. Whether or not Mike Tomlin was coming back, we knew Terrell Austin was going to be gone. Absolutely
Mhm.
disappointment, top to bottom. TJ Watt, is he TJ Watt of 2 years ago, or is he TJ Watt who's moving into a kind of rotational role as we try to get Nick Herbig more and more snaps because we have a decision to make there. I do think defensive backs played well. Jalen Ramsey filled that Minka role in a way. He's not as explosive and physical as Minka was, but his ability to play the game and his mental ability
Mhm. Oh
is
yeah,
truly
that
incredible. It was reminiscent of Rod Woodson when you could put him pretty much anywhere. He could play corner, he could play safety. He was
Yeah.
just going to be there. He won us a few games single-handedly. Very much like that acquisition, especially considering Minka didn't amount to a whole lot in Miami. But we didn't create turnovers. We had a lot of missed tackles. Patrick Queen. We have to address a lot on the defense, of which is a very high-paid defense. So, and
A lot
special
of
teams
poor
are special
anglers, too.
teams. Chris Boswell is Chris Boswell. We had a couple missed kicks, but it's okay. But that's last year. Okay, so last year's done. It's over. It happened. We move on. We have a completely new era of Pittsburgh Steelers football.
Mhm.
Brad, where do we start?
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, I guess with the offense, because we've got a West Coast background head coach now that, he really believes in those principles. So we got a lot to look forward to on that end, I believe. I mean, the guy can obviously groom quarterbacks like nobody's business. He brought Aaron Rodgers along, and uh, Dak Prescott had his best years up under him. So I think we got a lot to look forward to on that end. Like we talked about last time, he's not going to be a long-term head coach, 5 to 10 years, but hopefully he can help get the franchise back on track, because we've been reading there's a little nuggets slipping out in the media over the last couple of weeks. And one thing is something that I had suspected for years with the way Tomlin treated the locker room. Ben talked about it on his podcast, was that he lightened up on how stern he was with the roster in the locker room. He said the first thing to go was he let some veterans start sliding on some things, let some stuff slide, let this guy slide on whatever had happened, let that slide, and then it kind of started trickling down to the rest of the locker room. He let younger guys slide for whatever they had done wrong and wasn't supposed to be doing. That kind of thing, you lose control of your locker room, and I've said that for years, that he did not have control of those rosters. And I mean, it wasn't like a full-on melee or anything, but I mean, and all coaches lose a little bit. I mean, Cowher his roster went crazy around 98, 99 during minicamp. They had like a battle royal breakout in the locker room. I mean, Richard Huntley, I think it was Huntley or Hundley was his last name. He was a running back at Winston-Salem State before he got drafted. Dude picked up a chair in the locker room, and I mean,
Wow.
he apparently got pretty bad, and he had to bust everything up. And I don't know, I don't think anybody knows exactly what happened, other than it's just everybody was about to go at it.
Yeah.
I don't think it ever got that bad, but I mean, he let too much go with his players, and that kind of thing shows on the field also. If you're not disciplined everywhere else, when you get out there to play the games on Sunday, all that stuff's going to creep back in.
Yeah, I think with Tomlin, I think we're going to look back, and I've said this for a couple of years. I think we're going to look back and be so grateful for what Mike Tomlin did for the Pittsburgh Steelers for 20 years, because he's a Hall of Famer. And again, like,
Mhm.
you will never take that away from Mike Tomlin. But it's like with everything, you listen to the same voice for 20 years, like, you're going to start being
Yeah.
like, all right, like maybe we got to switch this up a little bit. And I haven't seen those reports about Mike Tomlin, but I think we could all kind of see it, like the George Pickens stuff. George Pickens didn't do anything illegal, right? But like when AB did that kind of stuff, AB was shut down.
Mhm.
And he Mike Tomlin managed the prime diva years of Ben Roethlisberger, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, and Martavis Bryant smoked a little weed. I guess we got to throw him in there for attitude issues. Like, no, but he managed that locker room so well for 10 years, and I think whether or not it was by design, I think Tomlin just kind of grew tired and grew weary of it, and
Yeah.
as you said, things just kind of started to slip, and I love how close he is with Cam. Like I think that was awesome, but also kind of shows like towards the end of his career, and I'm not saying Cam's career is over, although he posted a suspicious GIF on Twitter today of a closed book.
Oh,
Um,
really?
it felt like Cam was getting away with things, and
Huh.
you can't dictate players the way that you used to. I don't think Bill Belichick would have allowed his players to have multiple players to have podcast and to have this and to have like it would be like football. You are here, whatever. And I think that Mike Tomlin believed that too. And then your most trusted vet and Cam Hayward's like, hey, I'm gonna start a podcast. You've known this guy for 15 years. You drafted him. You've watched him grow up in front of you, and it's hard to tell that person no.
Yeah.
So I think that, I'm still lukewarm on the Mike McCarthy stuff. I think he's hired a good staff. I want to talk about his staff a little bit,
Yeah.
but it all comes down to the quarterback. And as I'm going to pivot directly here to free agents, are we bringing Rodgers back? We've seen the rumors come out today that Mike McCarthy has already talked to Rodgers and Rodgers has talked to McCarthy and there's interest. And I think everything we do this offseason is going to be dependent on whether or not number 8 is back on the Steelers next year. So what do you think? What do you want to happen? What do you think will happen?
Well, reading the tea leaves, and I mentioned this a week or two ago when they gave him the deadline of they need to know something in a month. I think that was kind of them putting their foot down and saying, look, we're not going to wait until June for you to decide whether or not you're going to play this year. So I think they want him back, but they only want him back on their terms. And if he doesn't make his mind up in a month, hopefully they're going to nut up or shut up, and they're going to move on. Don't let the tail wag the dog.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about it, because Brett Favre, he held the Packers hostage for probably 3 or 4 seasons. Last 3 or 4 years he was in Green Bay, he held them hostage every offseason.
It's funny how their careers have replicated. It really is. It really, really is. And how Rodgers kind of was like, yeah, I'm going to leave Green Bay. No, I'm not. And then he was like, yeah, it took forever for him to sign with the Jets and they had to trade picks for him. And then it took forever for him to, sign with the Steelers and whatever. It is funny how that works out. But if you had to guess yes or no, week 1 of the 2026-2027 NFL season, is Aaron Rodgers the starting quarterback of the Pittsburgh Steelers?
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
And the only reason is because they drew a line in the sand, and he's going to want to, take his time and decide how he feels. And, and as it stands right now, they're saying, hey, we need to know something in a month. And we're probably 2.5 weeks out from that deadline now.
Yeah. I honestly, I don't have an answer. I don't, because there are so many possibilities that I think because it's Art Rooney the second, and he seems to just be like, yep, let's just compete.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like everyone knows we have to develop. Like, we can't just tread water. We got to start swimming, right? Yeah. It's the Winter Olympics, but it's the Olympics. We got to get going.
And that's one thing that McCarthy's done is this is the biggest coaching staff that the Steelers have ever had.
Yep.
I think he's got 19 or 20 assistant coaches.
Yeah, which is the previous record was 19. And he's continuing to hire more and more assistants.
He still doesn't have a tight end or anybody with the tight end coach label, at least yet. I don't know.
I'm not. Maybe I don't have that written down right now. But
most recent.
Does that mean that did Mike Tomlin not want a big staff, or did the reduction of a head coach salary allow for more, but more coaching? It's chicken and egg.
It makes you wonder. That's for sure.
It makes you wonder. So I think what Rodgers needs to do is he needs to go to Minnesota, which is funny because obviously Brett Favre did that. But Minnesota right now, the J.J. McCarthy experiment looks like it failed, right? 4th overall pick. Didn't have a whole lot of obviously won a national championship in Michigan, but didn't have a whole lot of like big game, massive stat moments. But they took him. I understand why they took him, and it makes sense. And then tears his ACL. Coming out of before in the preseason, and so they have to roll with Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold leads them to a 14-3 record, and I think they made the right call by moving on from Sam Darnold. Of course, Sam Darnold's now in the Super Bowl, and the Vikings are picking like 7th or 8th or something like that. But they are a quarterback away, and I'm like, I think Rodgers needs to go there because I think he would work well in that system. And it's like they are a quarterback away from actual competition. We are many pieces away from competition.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want him to go there. I think he can elevate them. At minimum, they're a wild card. Kevin O'Connell's a fantastic coach. So I am so on the fence about Aaron Rodgers. I can't even answer the question. Next free agent we're going to talk about is your boy, Skylar Thompson. You want him back? You
Oh,
think he'll be back?
yeah, I'd like to have him back. I mean, there's not a lot they're going to have to invest in him, and if they're putting West Coast principles in, I mean, and he doesn't have a rocket launcher for arm, he has a solid arm, and
Yeah.
he seems to be smart with the ball in the preseason anyway. I mean, we've yet to see him in a regular season game.
Right.
All anybody can go on is what he's done in the preseason, but he was turning heads last year in those games that he played.
Yeah. I don't, I mean, he'll be a camp body, I
Yeah,
assume. It's
yeah. I
also hard to
mean,
tell because we're having, since there's a coaching turnover, oftentimes coaches will be like, hey, you were on our training camp last year. Let's bring you back, whatever.
mhm.
We have an entirely new staff. So I do wonder if we're going to see a lot of those fringe players bounced out for different fringe players to come in. Because I'm like Skylar Thompson, I thought he played well in the preseason. But
Yeah.
again, it's the preseason.
Hmm.
So who knows? I
Yeah, I
think,
mean, if there's no Rodgers, I can easily see them. There's so much talk right now of giving Will Howard his shot. So you've
yeah,
got Will at one. If it plays out like that, Mason backing him up,
yeah.
and then Skyler's the number three guy.
Yeah, and the only reason I wouldn't, if Rodgers does not come back, the only reason I would see Skylar getting bounced out is if we draft someone,
Yeah. Hmm.
which we might. We have what 12 picks this draft, so you might take someone in the fourth or fifth round, but like to me, that's also like you just took Will Howard in the sixth last year, and you
Yeah.
haven't even seen him, so it almost be like taking two late round quarterbacks, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Hmm.
Okay, so moving to running backs, probably the biggest question mark, biggest free agent we have right now is Kenneth Gainwell.
Yeah.
We got to bring him back, right? Like, there's no
Would
question.
love to have him back. He would be great in the system like they're going to be installing.
Yeah,
It's just going to come down to price tag, how much money he wants, and is he going to how much guaranteed playing time? Because I mean,
yeah.
he held up this year. Did he miss any games?
No, I think that actually the Jalen Warren missed games in
Yeah, I
Gainwell.
do know that.
Yeah.
Uh,
So Spot Track, I think that's how you say it. Spot Track has Gainwell's market value at just under 3 million a year. Because
okay.
running backs are, I would be completely fine with giving him Jalen Warren's contract, which I think was like 2 years, 10 million.
Uh huh.
I would be
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
I'd be completely fine with that. And then you roll with those two and Caleb Johnson, and you draft a late
Mhm.
round guy, and that's your locker room.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
mean,
we
I could
agree, right?
definitely do that.
Gainwell's got to come back.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah. I mean, as long as he doesn't, ask for 6 million a year or something
Yeah.
crazy. I mean, because you've already got Jalen there. There's a lot of potential in Caleb. We didn't see it this year, but
Yeah.
he got to sit and watch a lot. And there's,
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm almost like as long as Gainwell doesn't ask for 10, I'd say bring him back. He was a team MVP. He was our leading rusher and receiver.
it's pretty bad when your backup running
Yeah.
back is a team MVP.
Yeah, and that's why I'm like, realistically, like let's bring him back. We're not spending money, big time money on a quarterback. So
Yeah.
I would say bring him back pretty much regardless of cost. He's going to have a market. He's going to have a market. There's going to be a lot of, I think it's going to come down to not money, but opportunity for him.
Yeah.
If a team like, I'm just going to throw some teams out there. I don't know their full backfield situations, but if a team like the Broncos or a team like the 49ers or a team
Mhm.
like, to go back to the Eagles, right? Like a team who is competing for championships
Yeah.
wants to bring him on in pretty much that same role, like he would be. The 49ers just traded for Brian Robinson Jr. last year.
Hmm.
If like Gainwell would be so good in Kyle Shanahan's system, like so good. And the risk
Yep.
would be that McCaffrey gets injured. Okay, here's Gainwell, who's a similar player in a much lesser version, but
That
still,
blocking scheme that Shanahan uses, man, it came from his dad was
yeah,
hugely popular with Denver and Terrell Davis and anybody that came. There were Landis Gary, Mike Anderson. It seems like there was another one I can't think of his name, but definitely Landis Gary and Mike Anderson. I mean, nobody had heard of those guys. I think one or both of them were undrafted free agents,
yeah.
and they got behind that blocking system of his. These dudes are making the Pro Bowl, just tearing the field up.
Yeah, no, that system just it seems to thrive for offensive players, and they just spit out defensive coordinators for head coaches just time and time again.
Mhm.
Other running backs, that's pretty much. I mean, we have some, practice squad guys. I'm not gonna talk about that. Wide receivers, I feel like the big question is Calvin Austin the third. I love Calvin. I love him. I think he's got a great energy. I think he has brings a positivity to the locker room, but
Uh-huh.
you're gonna pay him like maybe a wide receiver three, maybe four, when you could probably draft a guy and get that same production out of him. Again, just
Yeah, and we
looking
got
at
a strong receiver class too coming up.
yeah,
So
it's really hard to know. Spot Track doesn't even have a market value for him, or maybe they do, and I'm just blind. I don't see it. If I had to
yeah.
guess, he would. Oh, there it is, 4.8 million. Um, I don't know. Like he's not a bad player, but he's just a fringe. He's a fringe guy. During free agency, you have to take away the name and look at the value. And
Yeah, I mean, is there going to be any consistency there? Because he seems to be hot or cold. And
again, it's so funny. I could see him going to San Francisco and just dominating
oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
because that
he's
just
got those skills, but
yeah.
it all hasn't come together yet. But then again, do you look and you say, well, he wasn't getting good coaching. He hasn't been in
Yeah.
a great position. The quarterback position's been in flux the entire time he's been there.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
so much
just
of it is
down
just
to
it's just not his fault. It's just the nature of the NFL. It's you
hmm
can't control where you're drafted. And, a lot of these guys would love to be drafted by Mike Tomlin, and then they get here and they're like, "Well, this offensive system sucks."
yeah,
But we have a new offensive system, so again, I don't know what does McCarthy want to do? What does the offensive coordinator want to do? Adam Thielen is retired, but I think he said he would be willing to play for a competitor or something like that. No, goodbye.
yeah.
Uh,
I mean,
I
he thankful for the little bit of time he had with us. He did
sure.
make some plays for us in some key games, but
Yep. Yeah, I thought he
that's
was
all we needed him for.
thought he was fine. Scotty Miller was a very competent wide receiver six. I guess he's more so for special teams, but we have my man Ben Skoranek,
Yeah.
Pro Bowler. Love that. Lifetime contract now, and then I will buy the jersey. Ben Skoranek, if you're watching this, I would love a signed jersey. Come on, man. I love it. I love it.
You definitely want to keep him around
Yeah, I think
because
he's a great
he is a
asset.
dog on teams, man.
Yeah, he's just that's the kind of guy you want at wide receiver 4 or 5. And Scotty Miller's fine. I think Scotty Miller's kind of a combination of Thielen and Ben Skoranek, so it's like you don't need that.
Yeah,
And then a person I never want to see in a Pittsburgh Steelers uniform again is Marquez Valdes-Scantling. None of
yeah,
us liked the signing. We knew why it happened, right? And if
yeah.
Rodgers comes back, he might be back too. But I don't think either one of us really wants him back.
Nah.
Contract value is $1.3 million. I mean, he's 31 years old. That's
Yeah.
not worth a roster spot. Moving on to offensive linemen, the biggest question mark there is going to be Isaac Seumalo. So
Mm.
Seumalo is 32 years old, and he's a guard. Guards get paid fairly well, even late. Spot Track's got him at 9.6 million. I think you let him walk.
Hello, Spencer Anderson.
Yeah, yeah.
He'll
You've
take
drafted
his
an
spot, and we'll
yeah.
draft some depth guys.
Yeah, guards are usually floating around between the second and the fifth round in the draft, and
Hmm
even so, you can usually find one in free agency who can. I don't want to say it's like the least valuable offensive line position because having a Hall of Fame guard, Alan Faneca, right? Like
Yeah.
changes everything in what you do in the run game.
Oh yeah.
But in terms of like if you have to choose the weakest, it's probably the guard.
hmm
So I would say, let him walk, let him test the market. If he wants to take him back at 3 or 4 mil, I'm not really worried about the money with these guys because we're not tied up in the cap. We don't have massive long-term investments. But I think you can get similar production out of Seumalo, who again was good. He was good last year. Like that's not, I don't, I'm not even going to pull up his PFF ranking because that stuff is just garbage. But I thought when Andres Pete stepped in, he was kind of complimentary, kind of similar play
Yeah.
and didn't miss a whole lot. So I I think we're okay letting Seumalo walk. Pete is also a free agent, and again, if Mike Tomlin was still the head coach, I'd be like, oh yeah, he'll be back. But because it's McCarthy, I don't know. I could see
Yeah.
McCarthy signing one of the guys he had in Dallas just to fill that same role.
Yeah. I can't see Pete coming back. It was just like a 1 year,
Yeah.
band-aid deal.
Yeah, and
Um,
I thought he played well for what we needed him for.
yeah.
He was
Mhm.
hardly the issue. Um, and then we other free agents are Max Sharping, Jack Driscoll. I mean, just whatever, not whatever guys. Ryan McCollum was I think our seventh round pick a couple years ago. Um, I don't even have a contract value for him up. here because he's a restricted free agent, so he'll be back. Is what
Okay. Yeah.
just yeah, whatever it is. And then tight ends. Again, we talked about this pre-show. Donald Parham, thank you for your service. I hope the Achilles recovers, but
Yeah.
see you later. Connor Hayward.
Antonio,
Connor Hayward.
not keeping him.
Mm,
I,
mm.
I I'm not. I don't see. I don't see the value of that. He's a tweener. There's nowhere where he consistently fill it. Say Firemouth and Washington both were out for the year.
Yeah.
You want Connor Hayward to be your tight end.
Yeah, and that
It's not going to jive.
while I definitely agree with that, 100% agree with that. He's not a tight end. He's not. He's just like
Mhm.
kind of like a traditional halfback, like a 1970s, 1980s halfback where he kind of does a whole lot. I think his value is in special teams too. So
Yeah.
I think if you could like take away the tight end moniker from him and put him at, I don't know, like our fourth running back, I'm not against it
Yeah, that wouldn't be terrible.
because he has good special teams value. But again, you can find that special teams value in the sixth or the seventh round of the draft.
Carson
Carson
Bruner
Bruner. I
was
mean,
a
Carson
beast
Bruner
on special teams
he
last
was.
year.
And his dad's part of the organization too. I don't know. The Steelers just for whatever reason it's a weird thing to be good at, but we have historically drafted late round special teams guys pretty well. Tyler
Mhm.
Matakevich, like
Yeah.
just we have these guys that we just consistently pull out of like Big Ten or MAC schools or I guess Washington is a Big Ten school that just fill the role and then they go somewhere else and like whatever and then they usually come back and like, oh, thanks for coming back, we missed you. With Connor Hayward, I'm kind of good either way. I do think if Cam retires, I think Connor's gone. I think if Mike Tomlin was still the head coach, Connor would stay, but I'm not worried about it either way. His projected contract value is $1.3 million. Like that's nothing. That's
I like those Swiss Army type players that
for sure.
can do a little bit, but I don't feel like he did enough for the last 3 seasons, 4 seasons.
Four, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he was out there enough, and it reminds me of when they signed TJ's younger brother. Was it Derek Watt to play
Derek.
fullback, and then
Yeah.
they never used him.
Yeah. He had like one touchdown, I think, and it was like the coolest moment.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
they made this big deal of throwing all this money at signing this fullback. You're going to bring the
Yeah.
running game back, and
Yeah.
he was almost never on the field unless it was special teams. It's like,
Yeah.
what are we doing here?
But that's the difficulty in this this discussion because we don't know this coaching staff.
Yeah. Oh
We
yeah.
don't know. We don't know
Absolutely.
what they're going to value. We don't know. They might bring in a bunch of weird things, weird guys for training camp, and then just kind of chisel away what they want to do. I think what we all want is like a vertical passing game, or at least again the West Coast where it's like the ball is moving. You utilize the middle of the field,
Hmm.
but it kind of felt like a lot of the Tomlin late era Tomlin offenses were like, we're going to beat you on the ground. And while that can work, and you're looking at two teams in the Super Bowl who have done that and done that well, they were also able to like retool their offenses in like 3 years. And we are on year 9 of a rebuild on our offense.
Yeah.
So I'm almost like I'm just sick of this 2 yards, 3 yards, 2 yards. Like just throw the ball downfield.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah. We just no offensive identity.
No.
None. I mean, and it started when Ben came back from his elbow injury.
Yep.
They're like, everybody's whispering at training camp because none of us knew that his arm was going to be pretty much dead at that
Yeah.
point.
I mean, you
They're like,
expected it,
we got to
but
create a really short passing game, and
that was, I mean, I just still think about how awful our offenses have been. Like it is just
yeah,
obviously the Steelers are historically defense, but when you had the killer bees, oh my God, you had a fantasy squad at like every position. You could literally draft every position for the Steelers, and it was a top 5 fantasy player. And
yeah.
it's like, wow, that feels so long ago. I'm like, oh wait, it was a decade ago. It was literally a decade ago. Literally a third of my life ago.
Speaking of that, Hall of Fame players inductees were just announced a few days ago.
Yep.
I was getting notification after notification on my phone the other night. All these awards are being handed out, and then the next morning I get up. And it's like, okay, players that are eligible for the Hall of Fame beginning next year.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown's on there. No argument. He did
Is he?
a lot for.
No, I don't think he is. Le'Veon Bell is.
I thought AB was on there
I don't think
also. See,
AB. Yeah,
Le'Veon was the one that was a big surprise for me. I'm like,
well,
he,
some of the guys on that list, you're like, okay, you're not going to make it.
I
But
know. I'm like, these guys have been sure they've been out of the league for 5 years. Why
yeah,
put them on the list if they're not ever going to get in and they weren't? They didn't put Hall of Fame careers together. So stop throwing everybody a participation trophy. Because that's what it felt like.
Boomer yelling at millennials over
Yeah,
here.
that's right. I mean, just get off my lawn,
Get off
man.
my lawn, old man yells at cloud. No, I get what you're saying. I think they kind of just throw out. I don't want to say everyone. Like I love Hines Ward. I don't think Hines Ward's a Hall of Famer. And
Man, I
but
do.
Le'Veon Bell is like the step below Hines Ward. It's like Hines Ward is maybe not a Hall of Famer, but he's a Hall of Honor guy. Le'Veon Bell is not even a Hall of Honor guy. Had he stayed his whole career, probably, but he's not going to be
Man.
immortalized in the Steelers' history. But Roethlisberger is up for Hall of Fame induction. I assume that's
Mhm.
first ballot, but
Yeah.
shoot, if Belichick doesn't get first ballot, who will?
Yeah, that was.
Uh,
Ooh.
LC Greenwood missed it again, which is a bummer.
Hmm.
I gotta imagine he'll get in eventually, but
Yeah.
oh, it bothers me. But shout out to our secondary team, Luke Kuechly. Luke. I love that man. Luke Kuechly is one of my favorite players of all time. Just
I didn't know that he put up the kind of numbers and was in the Pro Bowl and All
yeah,
Stars as often as he was.
yeah,
Because when I saw his name, I was like, why did he get in? And then I looked at the numbers and I was like, oh, well, that explains it.
yeah. He's probably like even with his short career, he's probably still a top five inside linebacker of all time. Like it's just insane. Honestly, his best comp is probably it's offensive, but honestly, Calvin Johnson, like just that level of dominance for that short amount of time.
Mhm.
I was not sure Luke was going to get in, but he did. So, anyways, this is a Steelers podcast, so we're gonna switch to defense now. We do like the Panthers. Come on, we live in North Carolina. You got to root
Oh,
for
man, I do.
them. Okay, well, I like the Panthers, even though I have nothing Panthers back there. I guess that maybe will change. Also, go Hornets.
We're kind of hot and cold on them. So, I
Okay,
mean,
defense. So again, we're done on offense. Defense, a little bit different. Not as much. I would say not as much power there. Um, Start with defensive lineman Danielle Aquale, who I think got hit with a suspension. Um,
yeah, I think you're right.
so if that's the case, I don't imagine he's going to be back. I don't want to. I'm not even going to look it up because, yeah,
Yeah,
he's 30. He's 32 years old. Like that's
yeah, no, he's
we're
not
moving
coming
on.
back.
Dean Lowry, probably same situation.
Yeah, probably
He's
not.
32 years old. Isaiah Loudermilk, that dude is just an enigma.
Yeah.
He was like a fifth round pick out of Wisconsin. We traded like multiple future round picks up to get him, and he's just been kind of
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I believe
And
you. I
then
believe the defensive line, other than the starting front, there's going to be a lot of new faces.
yeah, the one that I have an eye on right now is our preseason gem, Asezi Otomewu, who was dominant in the Steelers Panthers preseason game that we were both there for.
Oh,
Asezi
okay. I don't
is
remember that name, but
Yeah, he's a restricted free agent, so I assume we bring him back. He was just kind of he filled in occasionally. He played pretty well down the stretch. I want to give him that credit.
okay.
Assume he'll be back again, probably, vet minimum deal, or I don't even know if he's a vet. I don't know. Money, it's money. It's not my money. I don't care. Outside linebacker is Jeremiah Moon. He's kind of been like our standard practice squad guy who's elevated in certain situations.
Mhm.
He is a restricted free agent. It would not surprise me to see us release his rights.
Yeah, just not
Again,
bother.
if we still had Tomlin, I think that's a different conversation, but we got different guys in there. This is when you're going to see a lot of these fringe players that are going to be brought in from like Patrick Graham came from the Raiders, right? Or McCarthy's
Mhm.
Cowboys, or just various coaches that have had these players that they love. They're going to bring in because they're going to vouch for. And I think a lot of these fringe guys are going to be those fringe guys.
Speaking of Patrick Graham, there's some rumors starting to simmer that Crosby's not happy with the Raiders, and there's a few writers. I won't say a few, maybe two, that mentioned there's a possibility that he may end up in Pittsburgh because of his tie to Patrick Graham. But I
Yeah,
don't know how strong that is or how likely. I don't see
yeah.
him working for a 3-4 defense. I don't know how he would do standing up playing in space.
Well, I definitely think Max Crosby will be moved. Like I think that's the Raiders are rebuilding. They need picks. They should have traded him 2 years ago. It's hard because he's a fan favorite, right? and he's been a dominant
We're in
player.
that spot too.
Yeah, like we're not, especially at pass rush. Like obviously we want our pass rush to be better, but we can't add money there. We can't.
Yeah.
I would imagine that that Crosby will go to probably like a Seattle, probably and I would assume an NFC contender
Hmm.
or the Dallas Cowboys. Like it's because the Cowboys like we're always competing. We'll give up picks, of course. And I do think Max Crosby is a good player, but he's probably kind of in that TJ era where it's like of his career
Okay.
where it's like
Yeah.
obviously he's probably a Hall of Fame player. I don't know if you can give that to him because he doesn't have a lot of accolades. Um, but he's just not the same player that he has been. But I think you see in guys like Khalil Mack who aren't what they were, but they're still so good that there's value for him.
Yeah.
I could see him going for like again, it would not surprise me, especially if the Seahawks lose tonight, for them to trade like 31 overall to the Raiders. I don't know if that works for their cap situation. I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
they're ending that, but that kind of feels like that kind of move will be made. Um, so yeah, I have a question about Cole Holcomb. Cole Holcomb, we signed him from the Commanders, I think 3 years ago to be our starting Mike linebacker, and he played very, very well. And then he had that nasty, nasty injury, which took him a season and a half to recover from. And he came back, and he was a decent spot fill-in and a decent special teams guy. He just might retire. I like him.
How old is he?
Do what?
How old is he?
Cole Holcomb is 30 years old. So 29 and a half. His value is 2.6. I, I don't know. Like that kind of feels like if we didn't have Patrick Queen, we would bring him back because I think Patrick Queen is, he'll be our linebacker, our Mike linebacker. But we have to find like a solid number two there. And I don't think Holcomb is that. I think if Holcomb is the player that he is, and he was 23, 24, it'd be different because he's 30. I don't know if you're going to pay $3 million for your fourth or fifth string Mike linebacker because usually 30-year-olds don't play special teams either.
Yeah. And well, this draft coming up, middle linebacker is the depth throughout the draft is considered
Yeah.
elite. I
Yeah.
mean, I saw that on, if you guys want to check out this guy's YouTube channel, it's called Dynasty Theory. And he breaks down the strengths and weaknesses of the draft. And you got strong safety, free safety, and middle linebacker are the elite depth positions in this draft. And then just below that are cornerback and wide receiver. So Peyton's obviously going to be there. Patrick will be there. He's going into the last year of his contract, though, so I don't know how much they're going to have to pay him or if they're going to, extend him or, what's going to happen there. But we're probably going to have some young linebackers on the team coming into the season playing in the middle.
Yeah, and I think Peyton Wilson, he to me, and I said we need that like elevated second Mike, and I think right now Peyton's like a solid number two, but
Mhm.
you want to look for a number two that can step into a number one, and Peyton Wilson's just not there in the run game.
Hmm.
So I worry about that, and it's like I don't know. There's a
May
lot
end
of
up picking our all world middle linebacker at some point on
yeah,
day two.
yeah.
Maybe, yeah, I don't know. Day one makes any sense or what?
No,
I guess if something falls to us and they're just drafting
we,
best available player.
dude, if we go defense in round one, oh my God,
Well,
like,
we do need wide receiver and we need a stud there, but
yeah, we do.
we're having 1-1 always the smart move.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about draft stuff as we get closer to. There are a couple that I think that will be in our range,
Hmm.
um, but you never know. All right, so moving to our last defensive position, I guess this is where the question marks come in.
Hmm.
Um, I'm going to list off all of all of the free agents, and we'll go one by one. We got James Pierre, Asante Samuel Jr., Kyle Duggar, Miles Killebrew, Chuck Clark, and Jabril Peppers.
Woo! Oh,
Here's my thing, and obviously I want to hear your opinion. I see a lot of depth guys there. I
you
don't
know
see.
Asante?
I think Asante has higher potential,
Hmm.
but I would probably put Pierre and Samuel kind of in that same category of like pretty solid cornerback too. I'm okay with that. But Pierre is looking at James Pierre's 30 years old. Like I don't think we
Yeah.
can ignore that. Asante Samuel is do we have him on a
He's been in the
2 year?
league for 5 years.
Yeah,
So,
Asante
and he's
Samuel is 26. I could see us letting Pierre walk because he finally hit his stride in the 6 year of our system, and then we change our system. We're not changing our system, but changing our coaches.
Mhm.
Uh, and Samuel came here because of Tomlin. So like I could see both of those guys leaving.
I would make a push to keep Samuel around because
Yeah.
he was kind of a stud before he had that neck injury, right?
Yeah. But he
Yeah, I
didn't
mean,
play that well down the stretch. That's the thing.
with us,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
I mean,
he played he was a solid cornerback too. I almost said San Diego in Los Angeles for the Chargers. And then he got injured. And like he looked like before his injury, he could have been a cornerback one, but I don't know. I'm almost like draft a guy. The cornerback is the one position in the first round that I'd be like, okay, that makes sense, right? Because I
mhm.
do think we do need it. Because I'm looking at these guys, and it's just kind of guys. And when you're not competing, when you're building, those guys aren't worth their investment. That you're not
Yeah,
looking to puzzle piece together a team. Like you're looking for a foundation. And
exactly.
I don't think any of those guys are foundational. I want to give Miles Killebrew his respect because he's an all-pro special teamer. Kind of been injured. Well, he was injured. And we drafted Sebastian Castro out of Iowa last year, who kind of fills
Yeah.
that same role. So I would expect Castro to step in.
I mean, we got
Killebrew.
Bruner too doing so well in special teams.
Yeah. So I don't know. What do you like? What do you think? Do you think we bring those guys back?
Uh, I feel like Samuel, even though he didn't play as well down the stretch this year, I would be more prone to bringing him back because he's more of a proven player. James Pierre hit his stride this year.
Mhm.
Is that just going to be a 1 year deal?
Right.
Or is he going to go back to the player that he used to be?
Yeah.
That might make a play here and there, and get burned the rest of the time. Or I think Samuel's got more to go on, so I
Yeah.
would be more prone to bringing him back for the right price, and that would give you your starting corners in Porter and Samuel, and then we've got a really good draft for
Yeah.
corners coming up. Then you can draft some guys. We got 12 picks,
Yeah.
and there's not a lot going on quarterback wise in the draft for us. So
Ooh. Ooh.
yeah,
Well, I think fourth, fifth round would be our area for quarterback. Again, those
who's
guys.
the who's the safety that got hurt that Duggar ended up taking his place? That
Peppers,
no,
Chuck Clark.
no, he had been with the team. He wasn't new this year. He was an Achilles injury or something, and he ended up in. It sounded like he was almost. It wasn't an Achilles, or he wouldn't have been able to come back right before the playoff game. I can't remember the guy's name.
How about Deshaun Elliott?
Yeah, Deshaun
Yeah.
Elliott.
Oh,
So
Deshaun. Yeah, we still have Deshaun. He might
we
be a
got
cut
him.
candidate, but he's borderline Pro Bowl player, I think.
Yeah, I mean we've got him at safety. If we
Yeah.
keep either Peppers, Chuck Clark, or Kyle Duggar as depth or another rotational safety, which
Yeah.
Duggar, I mean, he played pretty well for us.
Yeah, Duggar's just kind of he's honestly so similar to Jabril Peppers. It's kind of funny that they both came from the Patriots. Uh,
Hmm.
but I, again, I think you're looking at bringing those guys back if you still have Mike Tomlin,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. Like we're not Patrick Graham has said that we're not changing the defense. Like we're not switching things up. We're like this is not a quote. We're just gonna be better. Like
Hmm.
right. So I don't know if you bring those guys back because it's like okay, cool, we tried that. Don't get me wrong. I would absolutely love if the Steelers re-signed Duggar because that is a personal allegiance to Lenore University.
Well, it's just I'm saying of those three, I would grab one of them and then let the other two walk.
Yeah. I would say yeah. Of those three, of Duggar, Clark, and Peppers, right? I would say bring back Duggar.
Hmm.
And then of Pierre and Samuel, I would agree bring back Samuel because I honestly also if I'm James Pierre, like dude, go get your bag.
Yeah.
Go get overpaid by the Browns or the Jets or someone out there who's going to give you like a 3 year, $39 million deal and just you know what you've earned this.
Right off into
And
the sunset.
yeah, like that dude has honestly we forget how cool these stories are. This man has been practice squad candidate with the Steelers for 5, 6 years now,
Mhm.
and now he just gets to shine, and it's a contract year for him. Just that's awesome, man. Go get your money, and I hope you ball out. But the Steelers, we're not we right now again foundation. We're not
Yeah.
patching. We're laying down concrete, and I don't view any of those guys as concrete. I would closest would be Asante Samuel Jr. Sure, let's bring him back on a 2 year, $6 million deal. I'm fine with that.
Yeah. I mean,
Um,
we got Porter's going to be what, a restricted free agent. So they're,
well, no, he's this is he'll be going next year will be his 4th year, so we will very very likely sign him to a contract extension this year.
okay. Gotcha.
I mean, we got
Yeah. They got to keep him.
we got shafted by oh shoot, Kevin Colbert's last couple drafts. Like again, we've talked about how bad these drafts are, but Omar Khan's drafts look so good. I mean, we have
There's a solid foundation there.
yeah, we have 3 guys from that draft class that we need to re-sign this year.
Hmm.
And you got Joey, you have Herbig, and you have Benton. Like all 3 of those guys, again, are they structural or are they uh, puzzle pieces? That's what you have to answer.
Hmm.
Um, okay, so that's defense, and then the only special teams player of note is Corliss Waitman, who's a restricted free agent. I would assume we bring him back as a
Yeah.
camp body and bring in competition. He was
He's a good
fine.
punter.
He was fine.
Yeah.
Um, it could be a lot worse. It has been a lot worse. It could be a lot better.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna sit here and analyze special teams play. Like those guys oftentimes feel like they're plug and play. Like go get a random practice
Hmm.
squad guy. He might be better. He might be worse.
Yeah.
So, well, that's all the free agents.
Hmm. Yeah. That way, I
And
mean, thought it'd be a good idea to comb through them and kind of see where we stood with those guys. And
yeah, I think there's definitely some cut candidates. I would assume John Smith is cut. Uh, I I can't say with certainty Patrick Queen might not be cut.
that was kind of my thought with the since the draft class is so strong.
Yeah,
I mean, because my feelings on him is he's a good linebacker and he's a great athlete, but there's
yeah.
something about his play. I don't think he has that. I guess that meanness that you need a linebacker to have.
I think he does have that. I think it's just like I don't know. It's almost like he's too fast, and I know that sounds silly, but like he misses tackles because he over pursues.
Hey, he's
Right?
got to
Like
learn how to take better angles. That's
yeah,
yeah.
like it's very rarely that he's like watching the guy go past him. It's like he's going, he just missed him.
Hmm.
And I think first of all, he's a great player to use in Madden because he's so fast. That's what you should build your team off of. Let me build
You're
a
my
Madden
boy in
team.
Madden, yo.
Yeah, I won like 3 straight Defensive Player of the Year awards with him. So thank you, Patty Queen. Um, but it's just this team is going to look so different in August, and it's going to look even more different next August.
Yeah.
So you're going to see so many new faces in here. And it really felt like with Mike Tomlin, every notable free agent was at least connected because it's Mike Tomlin. Like, of course you want to play for Mike Tomlin. And Mike McCarthy has a long resume too. He has I mean, we talked about it. Like, he has a comparable resume to Mike Tomlin.
Hmm.
It's just been a little bit different. He's been fired twice.
We're also
So,
looking at the assistants that he's hired
yeah,
from these other teams, like Graham from the
yeah.
Raiders, the new offensive coordinator Brian. Can't remember his last name from Minnesota.
Angelico.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna have players that they're gonna be like, hey, we need to bring this guy in over here.
Yeah.
He can do this for us.
Maybe with Angelico, we could just trade for Justin Jefferson. Let's just do that. Well,
Now
all
wide
right.
receiver would be set.
Minnesota Vikings, we will trade you Jonnu Smith,
Yeah,
Caleb Johnson, and a 3rd-round pick for Justin Jefferson. Deal? If you don't
yeah.
respond to the comment
And a
this
brand new
video,
Madden 26.
which is honestly that's taking the value down.
Oh no,
Yeah,
I
if they
haven't
don't
played Madden in a long, long time.
it's so bad. It's so bad. I play it every year, but it's so bad. Yeah, so that's the free agents. I think there was I know there's one more thing you want to talk about. I just wanted to make note that as staffs around the league are beginning to be built out, I think it's pretty noticeable how many former Steelers coaches are not being picked up by other teams. Right now, I think the count is four. Eddie
Danny Smith and
Faulkner.
Carl Dunbar are the only names that I saw.
So yeah, Carl Dunbar went to the Jets, which is where he was before the Steelers. Um, Gerald Alexander, who was our defensive backs coach, went to the Vikings.
Oh yeah, that's
Uh,
right.
Big loss is Eddie Faulkner to the Ravens. He was our running back coach. I
Ooh.
hate that. I hate that. I hate that. Um, and then there was one other guy that I think just signed up, but there's a lot of guys who are just not in the league anymore. I mean, Arthur Smith went down to Ohio State. I think it's just interesting. I think it's just
Mhm.
something to note. But I wanna. This has been a longer episode than most, so if you're still listening, we do thank you and taking time out of your day at your office, whatever you're
Yeah.
doing. Um, as we officially close the book on the Mike Tomlin era, you, you and I both saw the report that came from Jay Glazer.
Mhm.
Would you like to fill our captive audience in
Yeah,
on the situation?
apparently Mike knew this was coming down the pipeline. Had behind closed doors mentioned to Jay Glazer and Rondé Barber that at the end of the 25 season he was done 2 years ago, and I have no problem with that. I mean, if he had told ownership that, that's going to leak out, and then that's the spotlight's going to be on. Oh, he's riding off into the sun. He's only going to be there 2 more years, and then it's going to become, well, they're going to draft players based on the future of the franchise and not on the guys that I want to work with. And he would have lost any leverage that he had within the organization by saying, hey, I'm here for 2 more years and I'm done. So I get why he kept it under wraps. And, good on him for knowing when he was going to just hang this thing up. In him putting that end of that season on it, I don't think he'll coach again. I believe he'll go into TV like Coach Cowher did, but I don't see him coaching anymore.
Yeah, yeah. That report, it was just interesting because I think as social media, whatever you want to call Adam Schefter and whatever, all the different, they're just agent mouthpieces. Like they're not actually
Yeah.
reporters. They just get told stuff. It's just like half the times they're wrong or they're just guessing. Whenever Jay Glazer spoke about Mike Tomlin, it was like you listen because
Hmm.
it was
I
pretty
remember you telling me that.
yeah, it kind of morphed into you realized that was the only guy that Mike Tomlin trusted. So if Jay
Hmm.
Glazer said it about Mike Tomlin, it was true. If anyone else said it, it was not true, right?
Yeah,
And
and
let's like the report, what was like 4 or 5 years ago that um Southern California USC was wanted to hire Tomlin as head coach, and that's when he had his famous "never say never, but never," and then he walked
yeah,
off the podium. And like the entire time, Glazer was like, "There's no interest between Mike Tomlin and the Trojans." Like, and everyone's like, "No, they talked to him," and Glazer's like, "No, no." But for Tomlin to tell Glazer and Barber, and there's a personal connection there, obviously.
yeah, that's what I was
Uh,
going to point out.
yeah, and uh, you know what? Like, I'm with you. It's really easy to be upset and be like, "Well, why wouldn't you tell the front office so we could build?" It's like, do you tell your employer, do you tell your boss everything?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
do
what
you
I
tell
was
him
watching.
everything, or are you there to do your job, get paid, and go home? And
Mhm.
it's different because it's sports and it's money, and I get that, but I don't know, like, dude, 20 years, never losing season, Super Bowl champion. Thanks for everything, MT. Like,
Yeah.
enjoy Canton. Like that's just literally how I feel about it. I'm not upset about
Mhm.
it.
No, I mean, I was watching all Steelers talk. I think it was yesterday, and they were discussing it, and they weren't really. They were just kind of shocked that he would do that,
Yeah,
and I'm like, nah, I get it. I mean,
yeah,
you know, you just he would have lost so much leverage, and he'd
yeah,
have been like, why don't I just leave now?
yeah, yeah. I mean, it would have been.
Media would have been crawling all over him.
Yeah,
I mean, it would have been a mess.
yeah. He knew when he wanted to get out. I think it's kind of cool that he's able to kind of be a dad, right? Like you've seen him. He's been at Georgia at his
Yeah.
daughter's
Hmm.
gymnastic events. His sons are both grown, but his wife has a fairly decent, I guess, women's clothing business.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I don't shop there, so I don't know how good it is, but I
Yeah.
see it's decent,
I
right? Like
did.
and I think it's also kind of telling that the Steelers are hosting some charity gala, and Mike Tomlin and his wife will be there. And I think that,
Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, I just think that we're gonna have kind of like a whole. It's like again, it's like It's like your dad left. Like that's what it feels. It's like dad left. What do you do now?
Yeah.
And now we have a grandpa in the so that's what we're hoping for moving forward. We're hoping grandpa can right the ship and bring another Lombardi home to
Yeah.
7 Rooney Avenue, whatever it is.
He's got a lot of support behind him with the staff he's building. So, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
All we can do is sit back and watch and talk about it.
And we will. And we will.
Yeah,
All right.
that's right.
Last thing before we go. Obviously, Super Bowl 60 tonight. It's just Super Bowl never feels the same as it did. We talk about the eras of the Super Bowl, and Sarah and I watched a recap of the both the 40 and 43 a couple weeks ago, and just like the vibes always feel different because the cameras are flashing. It just kind of feels like a massive deal. Not the same, but it's still the Super Bowl. It's still really cool. What's your pick for tonight?
I feel like this, it'd come down to coaching, and Vrabel's got the edge there. I do see it being a really close ball game. I'm going to call New England like, I don't know, 23-20, something like that.
Okay. So the Patriots are the underdogs.
Yeah, I know. And I feel like that's also playing into his favor.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good matchup. Like I do. I think that the quarterback play, Drake May's obviously it was the closest MVP race in NFL history. I don't know if you saw that. It was by 1 vote between him and Stafford. But the Patriots have played a very soft schedule. They played a very soft playoff schedule as well. But it doesn't matter. You just win. You just keep winning, and that's what the Patriots have continually done. Neither one of these coaches has like massive big game experience. Vrabel does as a player, but not as a coach. I'm going to go with Seattle. I'm rooting for Seattle, but I'm also picking Seattle here because I think they're just kind of more. I think their talent is just kind of more spread out, right? They're not top heavy.
That is true.
I think that they have a bunch of just guys, and I'm going to use that not derogatorily, just like a bunch of guys who can step up. They don't need one guy to take over the game. And I think you have a bunch of guys that can. And I think the Seahawks, they're my pick. I'm hoping they're my pick. I really hope the Patriots don't get another Lombardi.
Yeah, because they'll pass us at that point.
Because they will pass us. But hey, it's going to be a great game, and it's going to be fun. Do you have anything else?
No, I believe that covers it today.
Last thing for me, I want to say, as we move into the offseason and offseason content, I found something on Twitter made by a guy whose name I'm forgetting. I'm so sorry, guy. Go to sticktothemodel.com, and this guy created this entire web-based platform where you can be the GM of a team for the offseason. And you start kind of like after the Super Bowl. And you can cut players, you can restructure players, you can trades, the draft, all this kind of stuff. I've played around with his models in the past, but he kind of released this full version. And it's pretty fun. I've had a few different, mocks I've gone through of different free agents, and we can put the link in the description. But again, it's just sticktothemodel.com.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. That's
it's fun.
Cool for football geeks.
Absolutely. Or just go read Mike McCarthy's playbook again. That was so cool. So cool. That's so cool.
That was neat.
So, all right. Well, thank you all for watching a longer edition. Brad bought Zoom Pro, so we can stick around longer.
Yeah, that's right.
So we'll be back.
Party going.
We'll be back. I guess probably next week or so. I don't know. It's Sunday. We'll figure it out. It's off season. Enjoy the time. Until next time. Thank you all for watching or listening.
Later.